My name's Craig Early. I'm an assistant administrator here at NEA Baptist Health System, and I lead our efforts for the creation and development of our idea generation system. Our journey with the idea system really began when Skip Stewart connected us with Dr. Alan Robinson, who has done decades of research across the globe, hundreds of organizations, attempting to learn about how high-performing organizations use frontline, employee-driven ideas to gain a competitive advantage. At the foundation of our idea system is really one central fact, and that is every day frontline employees see problems and opportunities that their managers do not. And so we set out really to create a formal idea system where we'll have the capability to listen to and act upon the ideas of the people who are actually doing the work. We launched the idea system in 4 different departments across both the hospital and clinic initially. Used those as pilot departments to try to really design and stress the system that we were looking to create. And that was in the business office, the cardiovascular unit in the hospital, and then on the outpatient side in our internal medicine department and subspecialties, and then in our pediatrics clinic. And so to date, we're getting around 14 ideas per person per year, and those are implemented ideas that go into effect that we experiment with. And even our high-performing departments are seeing around 20 implemented ideas per person per year. So when you hear me say that, 14 and 20 doesn't really sound like a staggering number, but in aggregate, what that represents is an organization that is moving towards being top-directed and bottom-driven, where we have problem solving at the lowest level of the organization. As a key piece of the Baptist management system, we've used CADA to really experiment and build a formal model of an idea system. Typically, when you think of ideas in an organization, you picture a suggestion box. And so what we're creating is really a formal model to make sure that we have the ability to act on the ideas that are coming from frontline staff. We're about to go to a clip of an actual idea meeting taking place, and so there's some really key things to look out for in this meeting. First, you'll see a whiteboard, which we use to log the ideas that are coming through. At the top of the whiteboard are some key strategic initiatives that are relative to the department when you think about its connection to the organization's strategic deployment. And very simply, what the employee does is they write down a problem on a Post-it note. The facilitator grabs the problem and then engages the team in going through a problem-solving methodology to try to identify root cause and identify action steps to be able to close the loop to implementation.
All right, let's start with the problem from patient experience. All right, Amy. Patients get confused and don't know where to go for their upcoming appointments. Tell me a little more about that problem.
Well, when the patient's checking out, when we print the after visit summary, it has a list of all their upcoming appointments, and the patients will always ask us, well, where is this, and where's this located? And so we have to go in there a lot of times and look that up for them, and it would just be so convenient if we had a way of that printing out on the after visit summary.
Okay, so Are they doing that at checkout, or is it before their appointment? When are they really confused?
Usually at checkout, but
okay.
I mean, a lot of times at check-in too, we have to kind of direct them where to go for each appointment.
At what point do they ask those questions? Like, they just walk up and ask them, or are they looking at their after visit summary and then saying,
yes.
I don't know where to go?
Yes.
Okay.
Usually. Mm-hmm.
All right. Is it causing a lot of extra time, or what? Tell me a little more about why that's really a problem besides just the patients are asking a question.
It does cause extra time. I mean, it's not real time consuming, but I mean, if you have other people standing behind them waiting to check out, it takes extra time to look that up for them. You know, whereas if it was printed on there or something, then they could just look at it and see where to go.
And they're taking that after visit summary home with
Yes.
them? Okay. So what are some things? It sounds like really the problem is patients are confused and it's really taking extra time at checkout. Is anybody else having this problem?
I've heard some other checkout girls even say that patients sometimes will call back.
Okay.
And, you know, once they've gotten home and gotten a chance to look at their after visit summary, they'll call back with questions about those appointments and where they need to be.
Gotcha. Anybody have any ideas on what we can do to help the patients know where to go? I mean, like should we make a flyer that we just give to them, or what do y'all suggest really?
I think a flyer would be good.
A flyer might be good.
Or just to put it on the after visit summary. Maybe
Okay.
beside the appointment, like
Right.
where they're located.
What does the after visit summary say right now next to their appointment? Does it just say you have an appointment in cardiology, or does it
And
give
the
any kind
date,
of
and that's
the
pretty
date?
much it. Yep.
So
Just
maybe
the
if
date.
right next to cardiology it said second floor or
Right.
something like that?
I think it lists the address, but then
Yeah.
all the addresses are
They're
the
the
same
same.
because they're all in their same
Okay.
building.
Yeah.
So a cardiology appointment has the same address as an internal medicine appointment. Right. Okay. Well, it sounds like maybe the best bet might be what y'all said, just to add it to the after visit summary, the floor number. So Amy, if you could, let's just start with our IT department. Talk to them, see if that's possible to add the floor number to the after visit summary. And then if we need to go on to BOC or take it further, then we can go from there.
Okay.
So you'll contact them to see. All right, let's go to our next one. Another one from patient experience. And Emily, you wrote this one. A lot of wheelchair patients have to stand up and walk through the clinic doors because the wheelchairs won't fit through.
Yes.
What's going on there?
We have a lot of our wheelchairs are the larger size or the bariatric wheelchairs, and they're just simply too large for our doorways because our doorways are just standard size in the clinic. And so they get up here, it's fine for the hospital or coming up the elevator, but once it comes time to come back into the department or into the exam room, the wheelchairs won't fit.
So what are the patients having to do? How are they getting back if they're in a wheelchair and they can't get through?
Well, we're either having to try and find them a different wheelchair, or we're having to try and help them stand up and walk through, which is a safety issue because some of them it's okay, but some of them don't need to be standing and trying to walk.
Gotcha. Okay, so are there any doors that these patients will fit through in the wheelchairs up in the clinic?
I don't think so.
No?
Not,
I think they fit at like checkout when they're leaving, but it's very tight. right
Okay.
now.
Do we not have, is that most of the chairs, or is it just one or two that's happening with, or?
there's several of them that are that way, and I think there's a lot of larger wheelchairs for the hospital, but because we take patients back and forth from the hospital for admissions, the clinic wheelchairs and the hospital wheelchairs all get mixed together, and somehow it seems like we always have a surplus of the really big ones.
Okay, so we have too many big ones, and do we have any small ones? Like, do any of the wheelchairs fit through?
Yes, some of them will, but
Okay.
sometimes those are just hard to locate.
And I have patients that complain when, small patients that there weren't any small wheelchairs. So they have to use and they can't even maneuver them because they're so wide
Okay.
that they have trouble even getting through the clinic in them.
Any ideas on how we obviously can't fix door frames? So what are some other things that we might be able to do?
Get more.
Get more?
Smaller wheelchairs.
Mhm.
That might be kind of expensive. Do you think that there's anything that we could do?
Maybe if there was a way we could label the ones that do fit or the ones that won't fit, to where we'll know not to grab those
Okay.
if when we have to go get one.
What about like on the labeling, the bigger ones, some kind of like brightly colored handles or something that looks nice and is very easy to spot, so that if anybody sees that, then they know that can't fit in the clinic. Think that would be?
Yeah, like sort of like a bicycle handle or something.
Okay, that'd be great. So Emily's going to do that. If you'll just contact, let's start with maybe purchasing, see what they have in mind for those wheelchairs. But there's still another issue. If we've only got a few small ones and we have a lot of patients, Has anybody ever seen if there's maybe extra in the hospital, anything like that? All right. Well, why don't we check with the hospital and just see if they have extra small ones. And then that way, if they have extra small ones that they're not using, we can bring them to the clinic. Maybe they'll let us use them, and we can give them some of our big ones that they need. Maybe that will kind of even it out.
Most of the hospital patient rooms and the test rooms,
Right.
they have doorways that will accommodate those larger chairs.
Okay. So if we switch, they can still use them even though we can't. Okay, so we're going to let Barb do the second part of this problem. And Barb, if you will just contact somebody in hospital facilities and just see if they have an excess of small chairs that we could maybe use. See if we can do a trade. All right. Let's go to waste and see what we can do to make your job easier. Oop. All right, Deb, you wrote this one. Long distance codes don't serve any purpose and add a lot of unneeded aggravation to our day. Tell me about the long distance codes.
It's a 7-digit code that we have to dial along with the patient's phone number if we want to call outside of Jonesboro, outside of the local area.
Okay.
And most of our patients do live out of town. And a lot of times the system doesn't work, even after you dial, and it takes 19 numbers to actually complete that. And it doesn't work, so if you have to hang up, start all over again. Or if someone comes up and asks you a question and you get interrupted, then you hang up and you have to start all over again. It's very time consuming. I've timed it and it takes like 6 or 8 seconds just to dial those 19 numbers to get a call.
Right. So how many times a day do you think we use that?
Oh,
Countless.
Yeah.
A lot. So the majority of our patients. Okay. When you said it didn't work, what do you mean it doesn't work?
You can dial it and at the end of it, it's just silence.
Okay, so it's like
So
a
you just
drop
sit
call
there
or
waiting, right, it just gets dropped.
Okay. Does anybody know where that came from or why we have?
When we,
That's just how it
yeah,
was
when we
It's
moved over here, we started using those.
But everybody has a different
Yeah,
one.
everyone
So
has a
I guess
different
it
one.
monitors who is
And a lot
making
of
the
people
calls.
forget theirs, and if you use your code, which is supposed to be private, and tape it by your phone, then everybody knows your code.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that really wouldn't be a solution to have one code for tape it.
Mm-mm.
What do y'all think the best solution is for this? I mean, that's a pretty big problem. It's something that everybody in the entire system has to do, I'm sure. And I wonder the outside clinics that are out of town, do they have to use it for their local patients if they live in Cherokee Village and they work in Cherokee Village?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I mean, I know of some of us have had to work in outside clinics before, like to help fill in, and we would have to use them for all the calls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, this sounds like it's going to be a really big problem that it's probably maybe out of our scope. If this is something that y'all are wanting to try to get rid of, or probably need to investigate a little more and find out why we're doing these codes. See if there's a reason, and if we have a good reason, then that will help us understand. Maybe we can fix some of the issues with it dropping. But why don't we start with our IT department, and let's just do some research. Let's find out why we need them, and let's put it in the back of our minds that we might escalate this to the admin team and get their help. If we don't really have a good reason for them, maybe they can help us get rid of them. All right, so Deb is going to do that. She's going to contact IT. Get some information. All right, and one more here. Julie, this is on patient experience also.
Yes.
Patients wait a long time at checkout because we can't see them. Why can't you
Right.
see these patients? What's going on?
Well, between the two checkout girls, there's a wall. And
Okay.
so the way that the desks are angled toward another wall, you cannot see if a patient stays at that desk.
Okay.
I mean, there's just no way. And there's been many times that I had no clue somebody was there. We get up to make a copy or something, and they were sitting there. And so we need to do something to.
Why isn't somebody sitting at that other desk?
Well, like it could be she's at lunch,
Okay.
or she's doing confirmations, restroom, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody has really their own place where they sit. And,
Right, yeah.
Okay.
You know, it's just when she's up, maybe going, having to speak to a nurse or whatever.
Where exactly are these patients sitting whenever we can't see them?
Well, they're sitting at the empty desk a lot of the times, or just standing
Okay.
at the empty desk.
Just because they're seeing an empty desk, right?
Right.
And just standing there and
Right.
waiting on somebody
Yeah.
to come.
And either they forget or not aware that they're new patients, that there's another desk.
Why can't they see you sitting right next to them?
It's just the way that the angle is. You know, they can't, I mean, they would have to walk on further down, and they would, but a lot of them just automatically stop at the first desk.
Do we have this problem anywhere else in the clinic with not being able to see patients at another area or anything?
Check-in.
Yeah.
Check-in has that problem?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Check-in does, yeah.
And we have 2 checkouts. Do both checkouts have the same
Right,
problem?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any ideas on what we can do to fix that? So that we know when, because the problem is that we don't know patients are there and are they getting aggravated by the time they get to you? Or
Sometimes, yeah,
Okay.
you know, they are. I had thought maybe some kind of mirror or something that the second desk could see, like see them, actually.
Okay.
So I thought, well, you know, that might work, but I don't know if that could be done.
like a big mirror?
Yeah, just a mirror, you know. I've seen them around the clinic and hospital. They're kind of
The domed mirrors.
domed mirrors, yeah.
Would that solve the problem in the other 2 places at the other
Absolutely.
checkout? What about
Mhm.
check-in? Do y'all think that would?
I think that would work.
Okay. Y'all know where we could put them? Maybe we can just have facilities come up and look and see what
Yeah.
kind of mirror they think will work best.
Right,
See if
yeah.
it'll work.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Julie, can you kind of start us out on that
Mhm.
and let's contact Don and have him
Okay.
come up, take a look,
Okay.
and see what he thinks will work for our area so that we can really make sure we're getting those patients so we can get rid of their aggravation, decrease
Right.
their wait times and all of
Okay.
that. Okay.
Plus, if they're sitting there and she's on the phone, I mean, that could even be a HIPAA issue.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
if
yeah.
they overhear
Absolutely.
conversations about
Yeah.
things like that.
Definitely.
Okay, awesome. Do y'all have any questions about any of your to-dos? All right. Thank you, guys.